You know, I told myself I probably wouldn't come back out here because summer has started. And if you know anything about summers in Florida, they're the equivalent of like maybe the eighth ring of hell, something like that. The string on my neck makes me think some bug is on my neck. Yeah, but it's not a bad day out. And there's some things I want to try out on a rig that I got here. I'm trying to see how trail worthy it is. I've already did a motor swap with it. Let's go ahead and show you here. So it is the LCX10, right? LC80 FMS. Did a motor swap. Because of that, I've lost the ability to turn my lights on. So I got to figure that out with probably a light switch. And we're going to see how good it does out here on these trails. I typically don't do these things. I just let the video do all the talking itself, but I think it's important for this video. So right now I got the FCX10 LC80 from FMS, and we want to try this thing out on the trail box stock. The most I've done with this is I've changed out the motor. There is a Fusion SC in there. I kind of need to fix that body because I don't think I had the body on all the way, because you can see that little gap right there between the body and the bumper. But out of the box, this truck is pretty phenomenal. Those are bootleg Super Swampers. They're called Super Mashers. They're still pretty good. The treads are about the same. The rubber compound probably isn't, but that's okay for the trails. I'm not using this for rock crawling, and I think this is important. This is a trail truck. You can do some functionality with the rocks. You can definitely do a little climbing here and there. But if you're looking for something on a competitive scale, trust me, this ain't it. The body itself seems to be a bit top heavy. It didn't seem that way for me on the trails, and I've tried it on a few spots, but specifically on the trails, this truck worked really good. You can see right now it just climbs over those rocks there, gets that grip, moves right on over. The foams that come with the tires, they're single stage. Yeah, they're single stage, so they're not dual stage, and they're about medium. They're not soft, they're not really hard, they're medium. And you can see that now that there's very little compression on the tires from the body itself as it comes down that hill. And you'll see it as it goes up some rocks and stuff. You don't see a lot of compression on that. I think I might have said this before, but if you're looking for like a competitive crawler truck, this ain't it. This is 90% trail, 10% rocks. So the shocks, the oil that came in the shock itself, I don't know how heavy they are. They seem to be heavy. Once I got them worked in, they seem to do pretty good. When I first got them out of the box, they felt pretty heavy. Like the recoil was really minimal. It's like it just didn't want to come up as fast. So after some time on the trails here, you can kind of see how they perform well. And again, you see how the tires don't really compress there on the rocks as much. That's because those foams in there are fairly decent. Now, one thing about this also is it a straight axle. So it's kind of different when you're using, or you're used to using portals, like my friend here with his TRX4 Sport. So you definitely got to choose your lines. But with the 1.9 tires on there, you do get some height with that. So that's cool too. So here we have some like downhill turning with some side action, and you don't see the tires really kind of folding in on themselves. So again, that foam is fairly good. This turn here, I think I back up. Yep, I back up here in this turn, and I gotta tell you, I'm driving one-handed while holding a camera, trying to get good angles. So my thumb doesn't really it doesn't really turn the knob all the way to get a really nice tight turn. So while the steering the turn radius does need some work, if you can change that, of course, with your trim and all that stuff. I'm steering with one thumb, with one hand, so you're gonna have to give me a break on the backing up and the 3-point turns and all that stuff. So especially right here. So I could have done this, but I think I back up right here. Or did I edit a video to make? Yeah, I edited the video to make it seem like that was going on that straight, but in the take, I had to back up, and then I hit this turn. Right now we're going across this little bridge here and this little creek, and there's a hill directly in front of us, and this is where I had my biggest concern, because while you can't see it, that hill is fairly steep, and with that body being top heavy, I was really concerned about it not getting up there, and you know, just all around trying to figure out how to drive, because I'm used to portals and this is a straight axle truck. So the normal way I would take that is right there, because my other trucks could hit that, and they have weights on them, and the tires are a bit better, or better suited for it, and they're broken in. So I back up and I go a little bit to the left, yep, catch that edge, and I pull myself right on up. And I was actually surprised, because once I did that, it kind of felt like it was walking up. Now also with this, like, there's no sound, you don't really see or hear the trucks in the background too much, is because my man's TRX4 there was extremely loud, and I thought, that's crazy. But there is a part where I turn the sound on so you can hear just how quiet it is, and I think that scene's coming up probably in the next scene, not right now for sure. So we're coming around, we're going to drop down, we're going to see how the shocks and the suspension offload, and they still hold fairly good there. Again, I'm going slow, so really it depends on how you drive. If you're going to bash this, then if you're not going to drive at a scale, then you're probably going to have issues with it. But right out of the box for me, I love this truck. It's probably, yeah, it's probably my second favorite truck outside of the Axial LCX10 3 that I built. So I want to say that scene where I have some sound on is coming up here. Yeah. So right now, you'll hear his truck, but you won't hear mine. That's the TRX4 Sport. And that's behind my car, and you can hear that over it. This car is quiet. It's really quiet. So now this is where I'm taking this turn here. I think I have to back up. Yep. Little 3-point turn, and I go up this hill here. Again, this is trails. This is strictly for the trails. And that turn radius, again, could have been mitigated by having the one finger steering attachment for the controller. And I probably could have done that with just one turn, not having to back up and then turn again. Going up this hill with this kind of wet / sugary sand, goes right up it. Yeah, I 100% can, like, you can definitely tune that turn radius. Again, there's no brass on this truck. It is strictly just out of the box. The servo is stock. Everything else is stock outside of the motor. Again, you can see those bootleg Super Swampers, Super Masters as they call them. They're actually my favorite tires for the trail / rock. They're all-purpose. Honestly, Super Swamper tires for me are all-purpose. They work well in pretty much any environment I put them in. And I don't really have any crawler or crawler rigs. Oh, you know what? Hey, let me stop this real quick here. That particular scene right there, you can see now where there is a shaved area on the roof there to help you get over that hump there. Again, I normally with my portals, I just drive right over that, but I gotta remember I have a straight axle, so I got hung up there. You're gonna have to change how you drive altogether if you're used to portal axles on any of your trucks. My man's right here is hitting the 50-50 grind, He's Tony Hawking it there. Now, this is important too. Let's go back. So you see how much clearance that he has on his portals right there? That's what I'm talking about. Like, you don't really have that, right? So he has almost like another maybe a quarter, if not almost a half inch. Half inch sounds egregious, but let's just give it a quarter inch of clearance. And then on top of that, he's got those Baja Pro X tires on there. So that's giving him some more room to get over that hump. You got to be mindful of that with this truck. So if you're going to drive this truck and you think, it's just getting hung up on all these things, I can't really, it doesn't function well, it's because it's a different type of truck. It's a scale-ish truck. So right now with this bad camera angle, you can't tell, but I'm side hilling coming up that sand, and the tires don't really fold on themselves, and that's really good too. They're pretty sturdy. Like, I didn't have any issues with the tires just folding on themselves at all. Again, that's just me being an idiot. I go around. Yeah, I could have, that turn was just stupid on my end. So again, downhill, a little bit of side hill, and you can see the body starts to roll there a little bit. Truck doesn't give, keeps on going. It really depends on how you drive these trucks. If you go down that a little too fast, you're probably gonna roll, and that's just what physics do. I will say this, there was a little bit of body rub on a few spots. Again, see, this is kind of sus too, right? Sugar sand, turn, body, it doesn't fall. The tires don't fold on themselves, it just holds and it keeps going. And I thought that was really good. But yeah, again, there was some slight body rub. You can, of course, that lets me know that the steering radius that I have for it is pretty far, and I could trim that. But what you're not seeing, again, like taking account, is I'm steering with one finger, so I really could have hit those turns if I had both hands on the transmitter. This video is a combination of like fun. Like, I had every intention to go out and just make a trail video, but a friend of mine wanted to meet up. So we went out and we ended up doing this together, and in the process I thought, you know what, man, let me just work on the functionality of this truck at the same time and just get some really cool shots of us trailing. So I do need to get the hang of like the way I was videoing. I am not a videographer, I am not a cinematographer, I don't know angles like that. I just know some shots look cool, but I'm definitely not mindful of the camera angle and me driving the truck at the same time. Now, coming down this roots here, there's a lot of flex there. You get a lot of ooh, that body roll there. You would thought it was gonna roll, but maybe not. But you got a little bit of clearance with the suspension. I don't know the lengths of the shocks. I think that's something I could look up on the box and tell you. But you saw how they dropped down and they held. I mean, this is a nice looking truck. Out of the box, it's probably one of the best RTRs you can get, as far as scale wise. All those things like the snorkel, the lights, the light kits, all that stuff, the roof rack, that's all that comes with it. Everything you see here is what comes with this truck. What trail video will be complete without some water shots, right? Gotta hit the creek. This trail in particular really will, you got to be able to drive on this trail. And shout out to everybody who did it. There's a couple of guys there. The name of it is WW James Park in Titusville. It's getting a little bit of steam, and I guess the city knows that we're out there, so it's kind of cool to kind of say their name. I was really cautious about that. I didn't know if we should get recognition for it, because then all of a sudden we got a bunch of people, and then, you know, I don't know, the city might have something to say. But this trail is definitely technical. There's a lot of other parts on here that I didn't show that I knew my truck couldn't do, because it is not a rock crawler. It is a trail truck, and it looks great doing it. So that was it, really. Just wanted to show that off, and I appreciate you guys tuning in to this channel. Y'all have a blessed day. Later.